When I first became a VTuber and started the guide a couple of years ago, VTubers in the West had just started the massive explosion we see today, as it was only a few months after the debut of Hololive EN Myth. Cut to today, and things have only gotten massive on the Western front, with more and more talents showing up and blowing up. Obviously, independent VTubers are showing up left and right, as my past videos have shown, but even when it comes to the big agencies, there's been wave after wave of new faces showing up. So far, all three agencies, the Shoujo, Nijisanji, and Hololive, have opened auditions for new English-speaking talents. Hell, Hololive has started non-stop open auditions, meaning you can audition at any time as many times as you want, with only a 3-month gap in between each edition. And Nijisanji has recently opened up their second set of auditions for both male and female livers. While the Shoujo hasn't debuted any new talent lately, we know more is coming, and who knows what they're bringing to the table. While many of these English VTubers will undoubtedly get their own spotlight, I think we need to take a quick look at all of the new talent that's been coming out lately, and hot damn do we have a lot of them. So it's time to try something new with a lightning round of EN VTubers, and maybe even a small generation of Japanese VTubers as well. But first, I gotta keep the shilling going and send some love to the algorithm once again. So if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to drop me a like, give me your comments on any and all of these VTubers below, and of course subscribe, along with ringing that little notification bell. Trust me, I wish I didn't have to do this every video, but it's the only way to get noticed, so any help is appreciated. With that being said, hello everyone, I'm the Shades, and this is a VTuber's Guide to VTubers. Now, here's how we're going to approach this one. Since this is going to be a very different video from my normal individual spotlights, I'll be going over each wave of talent with a brief description of each one and a clip or two to showcase their personality. I won't go into designs because we'd be here all day if I try to do that. We have 7 different waves of VTubers, about 3 to 5 talents each, so I can't afford to waste time here. Also, since having to study all these talents would take forever, I'll be using info from clips and the virtual YouTuber wiki to try to be accurate, which I usually do as part of my research anyway. But given how long this is going to take, I'm going to have to keep things short and simple. I will say for 3 of them, the wiki didn't give me much to work with, so I had to rely exclusively on clips alone to give me an idea of how they are. So my description might be a little off on those. Still, I at least want to cite my sources in case anyone who frequents that wiki notices some similar comments. I will say I've done my best to write these in my own words, because unlike others out there, I'm not one to plagiarize if I can help it. Let's get started. First, let's head to Hololive, since it's actually the quicker of the two to cover. Before we get into the larger waves, we do have one solo talent that doesn't belong in either wave. Iris. She's actually classified as a V singer, as she's more focused on making songs, though she still participates in games and other streams as well. She's basically the English equivalent to the JP Hololive talent Aski. Iris is what is called a Nephilim, a half-demon, half-angel hybrid. This is showcased in her personality as well, as she's very much about hope and positivity, but occasionally she can bring out a more sadistic side to her.
I'm not an M. No, I'm not. I can be a big sadist when it comes to certain subjects.
As a V singer, her voice is really good, with one of my favorite songs so far being Here Comes Hope, which I think really captures her dichotomy in full.
Just wanna light up the hope in life that is made by my black and white.
But now we get to the EN Gen 2 proper, with a look at the Council. Each of the girls here are aspects of life and the universe. First up is Tsukumo Sana, the Speaker of Space. She tends to be very childish at times, not really going too mean overall.
It's like a balloon, isn't that adorable? Yeah.
She can occasionally get a bit careless though, as she needs to maintain her smaller size or else we're all kinda screwed. She even comes with her own little familiar, Yatagarasu, which is based on the legendary bird spirit in Japan, and any old school Yu-Gi-Oh players are likely sinking in their chairs over that name, given it's a rather notorious card. Though here, it's more of a lizard as opposed to a bird. Then we have Fauna, the Keeper of Nature. She tends to be the most soft-spoken of the group, but don't let that voice fool you for a minute. She can become a bit yandere at times, and she gets very overprotective and condescending when she sees something she doesn't like.
You believe in me, right? You have confidence in me, right? You You know that we're going to make it, right? That's right. Good saplings.
Her little familiar is a kitten named Nemu, and given Nemu is a Japanese word for sleep, you can imagine what the little kitten is doing most of the time. Next up is Orokroni, the warden of time. She comes off as a bit arrogant, but it seems to actually be a front, as she's not a very happy person, even making one of her hobbies existential dread, and often calls herself out when she messes up, showing she can be rather self-conscious at times.
This isn't really my favorite, but it's an activity, so I thought, why not? Existential dread, which is something I constantly experience, you know, being a concept.
She has the more deadpan dry humor of the bunch and acts as the big sister of the group. From there, we have Nanashi Mume, the guardian of civilization. She's a rather gentle girl, often coming off as shy with some small bursts of emotion here and there. But she's also very forgetful and scatterbrained, often forgetting things she just brought up mere moments ago.
I forgot. What? No, I didn't forget. I'm just so accustomed to saying I forget when I'm a little panicked that even when I don't forget, sometimes I say I forget. But really, I didn't. But actually, now that I've continued talking, I can't recall why I said I forgot.
She does have artistic talent, but it seems her views on mankind's achievements come off rather disturbing. Her little companion is simply Friend, which is just a paper bag with eye holes and a mouth cut out, as well as a bandage plaster on it. Last up for these girls is Hako's Bells, the embodiment of chaos. This little rat, as her title implies, is very unpredictable. Yet, somehow she's the leader of the council and the one who keeps the others in line. We see this as early as her debut, as she ends up leading the first meeting of the council.
And then you make me the biggest.
I'm the biggest! No! I mean, you guys can fight for the title of the biggest.
We never did decide.
It's
did
big!
we?
So as you can see, the council has already made a big splash, as Hololive tends to do. I've been watching tons of videos about YouTubers, and one guy, Depressed Nosagi, really spelled out how Hololive became the preeminent force in VTubers, despite Nijisanji's popularity in Japan. It's the fact they were willing to go over the top. For the longest time, Nijisanji played it relatively safe, with their livers simply having fun doing whatever. But Hololive got crazy, with gals like Kiryu Koko and Hachima leading the charge, and going so crazy, us here in the West had to take notice. It's only when Nijisanji started their English branch that they got the hint, as many of their EN talent have decided to get a little crazy themselves, and it indeed has paid off. But before we get to Nijisanji proper, we're not quite done with Hololive just yet, as they've also unleashed their 6th generation of Japanese talent as well, known as HoloX, who seems to be acting as this secret organization kind of deal, with each of their girls acting in a very specific role. Kazama Iroha, who's the insurance policy. She's the softer of the group, and most fans consider her more pure, or say so, than most members of Hololive outside of Toki no Sora herself.
お金は大事でござる。みんなさ、マジでさ、なんかストップにスーパーチャットを使うんじゃないよ。そうじゃないからお金大事って言っときながらちょっと待ってねえ今来たじゃんなんでちょっと今来たでさ
Though it seems she doesn't quite agree with that assessment. Her design is based on a samurai, though some seem to confuse her with a ninja, which she's not too keen on. Sakamata Chloe, who's the fixer and apparently the intern. She's based on an orca whale, even wearing an orca-themed mask as well, though she hasn't really worn that much since her debut. She was originally described as cool and mature, something akin to Mori or Crony, but actually seems to be rather kind, much more like Shirogane Noel or Tsunamaki Watame.
ちょっと今からさ、最初の頃のさ、コメ欄再現してよ。ちょっとやるわ、坂本も最初の頃の坂本。あ、バックバックバック、どうも秘密結社ラックスの掃除やりんだ。シャチの坂本くらいです。皆さん、今日もありがとうございます。来てくれて、ありがとうございます。うぜえ、なんでだよ、まだ、なんもしてねえだろ。
She's also a bit of a sleepyhead and rather accident prone, and a bit too honest, almost to a fault, admitting rather harsh faults about herself, even admitting to having a light BDSM fetish. Akui Kuyori, the head of R&D, whose design is based on a coyote. She's an energetic little sprite to boot, and while she originally appeared to be say-so as well, it seems that idea has completely fallen off, as she's begun to reveal her ecchi side more and more as time has gone on.
おっぱいの大きさティア表みたいなやつがこう更新されていて、こう6期生のホロックスのみんなは ここら辺なんじゃないかみたいな。あれコヨ、なんか、コヨの、おっぺ、ちょっと、舐められてますかみたいな気持ちに。こんなに、たわたわしている、ペイがさ、そんなささやかだと、思い
Takane Louie, the executive officer, with a hawk motif in her design. She comes off as the big sister of the group, and much like Ina and Crony, she's one for the dad puns, which I'm all for, to be honest.
ランチタイム雑談、ランチタイム雑談、たまランチ。氷河期？氷河期温まったと思ったんだけど。
She's a bit of a scaredy cat, most notably when she tried to play Outlast, saying she would end the stream if she screamed. But that didn't quite last that long in her attempts.
やっていきたいと思います。ちょっと待って、水こぼした、ちょっと待って。うわちょっと待って。これダメ。BGM 聞こえないように話せば大丈夫。ライブラリー、図書室。
She's also the one to reach out to us in the West the most, keeping that gap bridged as best she can. And LaPlus Darkness, the leader of the group. The name, combined with her demonic design, are a reference to LaPlus's demon, which those who saw my old Bunny Girl Senpai recaps might remember me bringing up. But while that video is no longer on YouTube anymore, goddammit, I still have it saved here. So here's a reminder. So, Laplace's Demon. Written by French scholar Pierre-Simon Laplace, it explains that, quote, according to determinism, if someone, the demon, knows the precise location and moment of every atom in the universe, their past and future values for any given time are entailed. They can be calculated from the laws of classical mechanics. She tends to be pretty arrogant and rather loud at times, kind of in the vein of those like Murasaki Shion.
ネクタイとかガタガタして邪魔じゃね。なるほどな。はい、ブロック失礼します。ちょっと理解するのに一瞬かかったわ。やっぱ脳みそがね、死んでるんだよね、我が輩。おめえ覚えとけよな。名前覚えたお前の。お前ここでこんなコメントしてるくせにな、絶対な、他のな、可愛いVTuber の前では、今日も可愛いねってコメントしてんだろ、お前も。ちょっとつけんなよ、って思って出ろや。
She also can come off as rather childish, and given her short stature, she's often compared to those like Himinori Luna, though she vehemently denies that. Now, if you thought we were near the end, I'm about to disappoint you, cause we've barely scratched the surface. See, while these 11 girls were all the ones debuting for Hololive recently, that is nothing compared to what's been going on with Nijisanji. As you recall from my look at Hanamakiya, Nijisanji tends to have a somewhat of a quantity over quality approach, though that's not to say their talents aren't any good, just that they tend to unleash a lot of them at once. Within the last year alone, they've debuted 5 whole waves of English talent, not to mention new talents in their other branches as well. For the sake of not letting this video go on forever, we'll just stick to the English branch. But even then, get comfy. This is gonna take a while. Thankfully, the first 2 waves were only about 3 VTubers apiece, so this won't be too bad. So let's start with the first wave, Lazulight. We start with Fanana Ryugu, the mermaid. Much like Koyori, don't let her soft-spoken voice fool you for a second. She often talks about some rather devious topics, both of the mischievous kind and of the naughty kind, often trying to hide her darker side by pulling a Hagrid from Harry Potter.
Oh wait, don't look at the booba. Let me cover this. Yeah, right there. Right? Don't look at it. This is nothing you guys should look at or anything. This is the glorious wireless mouse.
She's still very caring to her fellow EN members, and she can really get into streaming, both in terms of frequency, as she streams a lot, and in immersion, really getting deep into the stories of the game she plays. Second up is Alira Pandora, a sky dragon from the sun. She's the calmer of the girls, but her sense of humor can be quite cheeky at times. While she has her rambunctious side as well, often teasing her fans during her own streams, she's just as easily caught off guard by her fellow livers.
There's just a
Alira's
whole
bad taste in men?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, but
Earlier when we were talking, she was literally like, I love when they treat me badly. She's like, I love when he treats me like like he's an asshole. And I was like, okay. You didn't say it was a secret, Alira.
Last up is Puma Rainpuff, who undoubtedly became the breakout star of the early waves. This little forest fairy is the otaku of the group, who tends to be like Kureiji Ali, crushing on her fellow livers, as well as other things like maid cafes and idols. She's also the class clown, with things like her being full of PP energy.
Piece of power! PP energy is real!
This is what I'm talking about when I'm saying you can also own PP energy.
You know you made it when someone makes a fan game out there for you, and I've seen and even played an idol game all about her, which is actually rather fun. But with the light, now comes the dark, with our second wave, OBSYDIA. Sailing Tatsuki, another sky dragon like Alira, but from the moon this time. She's quite the trickster and loves to taunt people, but she does have her wholesome side that comes out every now and again.
You got this!
Yeah.
Yeah! Come on, Alira! Woo! Woo! See, look, you got this.
Also, her and Ollie would get along great since she loves her some Apex, along with shooters in general. Petra Gurin, the penguin. One part soft-spoken, one part blunt and honest. She tends to get easily flustered to the point she tends to be the target of teasing and lighthearted bullying, which she's actually kind of used to and has made clear she's cool with her fellow livers.
You called me the world's ugliest baby.
I did not call you the world's ugliest baby. Rosemi called you the world's ugliest baby.
No, you're the one who drew it and wrote it. You wrote it, which is basically you saying it.
You put them together.
Sorry, it doesn't work together too well.
That's my drawing and my prompt.
You're the mastermind who made me do it.
No, Rosemi, you're the one who put them together. I only wrote world's ugliest baby. It could have gone to
the henchman. You were the mastermind, Paul.
She's also the bridge to the Japanese fans, as she's very fluent in both languages and holds Japanese-centered streams along with English ones. And Rosemi Lovelock, the Rose Maiden. But despite her bragging at times, this rose doesn't have many thorns to her, often being the pure one of the group. Hell, she doesn't even like cursing all that much, if that tells you anything.
Someone's asking what's Rosemi's favorite hentai. Oh my god. It's the anime? I watched a little bit of one. I watched Monster Girls once. Oh, Monster Musume? Yeah, the one with the snake. Have you seen anything more than that though? Like, worse? I mean, there's always like, sometimes you're just watching a normal anime and then there's like the boing boing and you're like, oh my god. So you've seen ecchi anime, but have you seen hentai? Like worse than that? Like, yeah, like the worst kind. The worst kind? Like the one that you would find in Pomo Hub. You know, sometimes like there's like the anime and then like, let's say they're in like a bath scene or something and then it's like all fucked up, you know. And huh? Yeah, it's pretty bad. Wait, what?
Even when she drops an innuendo or two, she doesn't know she does it or what it means. Now we start getting into the bigger groups where even I couldn't keep up anymore, with Ethyria. Reimu Endo, who despite her design based on a ghost, she's actually rather upbeat, though can come off as temperamental with her fellow livers.
Is beating me in an arbitrary silly race really worth playing Jump King that much?
I beat your ass for 100 years ago, I can beat it again.
Yeah, and do shit to me. Like, who the fuck are you?
Who do you think puts up with you in Nijisanji EN? Nobody, only me, and maybe now Fulgur. You're scaring everyone away.
And Owlette, the Bluebird. She has a Valley Girl sounding voice, but she is anything but. She can get quite weeb and degenerate at times, even admitting she does that as a tactic to scare off guys she don't want to be around.
So yeah, one of the tactics that I used was I became the most degenerate person that I could possibly be. I took my internet persona and applied it to my in real life persona. I don't know, I wanted to really bother him. And it worked! It worked! It's so degen, you know? But it worked!
Stuff like just outright asking how it feels when us guys get hit in the family jewels.
Wait, I have a question for anybody here who has nuts. When you accidentally hit them, does it actually hurt?
That's only me! And yes, they do.
Millie Parfait, the black cat of hell, who lives up to her chaotic look with a persona to match. Sweet to fans, aggressive and quick to fire back at fellow livers. And when something grabs her attention, she goes for it.
And now we cannot stream. And now we're just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on today. Okay? That's what's happening right now, okay?
I guess we can find our way out of here.
If we weren't under a company, I would strangle you really hard, to be honest. You're so lucky you're under Nijisanji. This is your safety. This is your safety net.
And Nino Kusaka, the nine-tailed fox. She is undoubtedly the mom of the group as she dotes over her fellow livers. She's often called out as a boomer since she's not very internet savvy, claiming she still uses Internet Explorer among other things. Oh god. Also, she likes to call everyone honey, like a lot.
I had so much fun, honeys. Hi, Selin honey. Hi, honeys. Rosemi honey. Can you hear me, honey? Honey, do you see me? I'm debuting. Isn't this exciting, honeys? Honey.
But be careful as she can become quite the dommy mommy at times, with quite the sadistic side to her.
This is my time. Where is my Finana?
Just you and me, Luca.
Oh, did he kill me?
But it's not just the ladies getting in on the fun, as the last two waves to come out have been all about the boys. Starting with Luxiem, who go for a bit of a gangster theme. Luca Kaneshiro, the mafia boss. Despite his lore making him come off as mean and evil, he's actually quite the kind fellow. He also likes to say pog a lot. How do you do, fellow kids?
What does pog mean?
Ow!
What does pog mean? What does pog mean? What does pog mean? That was pog. You see that? This is pog.
Shu Yamino, the sorcerer. Like Petra, he can also speak both English and Japanese fluently. He comes off as rather chill, not easily scared, though can be rather silly at times, and can get flustered from time to time.
I feel like when I play these games, I'd rather be like, I'm not more of a I'm more of a kind of person, you know? You know what I mean? Okay. Oh, my car stopped moving. That's no good. Oh god!
Ike Evelyn, the novelist. His slightly higher-pitched voice makes him come off as a bit of a femboy, and to be fair, he's the more say-so one of the group from what I could find, not taking kindly to the other guys' innuendos. He's also easily scared into a panic playing horror games. But on the flip side, when he's the one doing the killing, he can easily turn full serial killer.
Come here. There's nothing to be afraid of. See? Just accept your fate.
I'm kind of getting turned on.
Also, for having the voice he does, dude can pull off some serious screamer metal. Mr. Rias, the detective. He can be a tad eccentric and can really be odd at times. He also seems to be a genius, not knowing pretty common knowledge. And good lord, seems this man needs to stay out of the kitchen, as he's had several comments and streams where it's clear he can't handle food at all.
We were talking about fried rice, like me and Luxiem. I was talking about how I fried rice before and it was crunchy, so I never did it again. I was talking about this with Vox. Vox can actually cook, by the way. It's called fried rice, okay? It's literally called fried rice. So I thought you just grab the rice and you just put it in oil and you fry it and it will taste like it will cook like that, right? Vox got really, really angry at me and was like, you don't do that. You don't. You're supposed to like boil the rice and then you fry it. You don't just put it in a pan and then fry it in oil. And I was like, why do they call it fried rice then? Why would you call it fried rice and not fried boiled rice?
And Vox Akuma, the demon. He's a suave son of a bitch with a deep voice that can soothe any soul. In fact, I could swear I've heard his voice somewhere before, but even if I could pinpoint where, I'm not gonna say it. Not about to break my rules now. But he does have a silly side, making some off-color jokes here and there, and can even do impressions, including Chef Gordon Ramsay, which, you know, thinking about it, he might need to use that on Mista given his shit cooking skills.
Oh, I sound like Gordon Ramsay. Our 4 beautiful art tags. Have you guys ever seen that bit? There's a bit in every episode of Kitchen Nightmares where he has like that wide eye mouth expression after there's been a terrible day of services. Right. I don't know what to say.
There is one last group to discuss, Noctyx, but since they only just recently debuted, we really haven't gotten a chance to know them. Still, we have to at least mention them names. Yugo Asuma, Fulgur Ovid, Alban Nox, Uki Violeta, and Sunny Briscoe. And there we have it. All the EN debuts from Hololive and Nijisanji over the last year. And even a genre of Hololive Japan as well. Eventually, I might find the time to make a full spotlight on some of these VTubers. Hell, I'm already eyeing those like Pomu Rainpuff and Otocrone down the line. But for now, you at least have an idea as to who to look out for if you're wanting to jump in on the mainstream English VTuber scene. And we know there's more to come if those auditions are anything to go by. Now, being honest here for a minute, I think it won't be long before we hit a plateau for VTubers in the near future. I don't think it's at any risk of dying, as it's still as strong as ever given what happened with Iron Mouse recently, and it's gone far past just being a passing trend by this point. But inevitably, we will reach a point where just being a VTuber isn't going to be enough to stick out. If future VTubers want to become as big a draw as many of the big names we've talked about so far, you're going to need to chart your own path. Look at those like Mori Calliope, Hosho Marine, Zentreya, and even Takahata 101. All of them have more than just a pretty looking avatar, as they can each do something that not many others are doing right now. Whether it be a unique personality, a talent that they have, special types of content, etc. More and more, the ones that stand out from the pack do so because they don't just follow the normal VTuber formula. It'll be interesting to see where these new talents take things, and I bet we'll be talking about future VTubers who change the game even more before too long. Obviously, I won't be able to post links to all of these channels at once, though if I can, I'll be sure to do so. But at the very least, I've made sure to list their names so that you can look them up on your own. But let me know what you guys think of these new VTubers down in the comment section below. And if you want me to put a spotlight on any of these talents specifically, or if there's just another VTuber in general you want me to showcase, let me know down there as well. As for the next video, thinking about it now and after doing this video, I really haven't covered a Nijisanji member proper since Hanamakia, and I still need to add some more male VTubers on this guide. So how about we kill 2 birds with 1 stone? Because after this one, I'm honestly feeling a bit drained here. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me here today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Shades, and we'll see you next time. Rock on!